Today we're going to be making a mezcalita. And if you think this is just a margarita with mezcal, it's not quite as simple as that. There's a lot going on here. We've got the smokiness from the mezcal in place of tequila. We've got more of a kind of fruit-forward characteristic and a little bit of spice in there, almost similar to a picante della casa. So if you haven't heard of any of these drinks, doesn't matter. All you need to know, this is an amazing drink, really nice on a hot summer's day, super refreshing, and I'm going to show you 3 different versions of it. So let's make the mezcalita. So the mezcalita is actually quite a simple drink. It works with a lot of different flavors, which we're going to add later, including coffee and charred pineapple and jalapeno, with a little bit of beer in there as well. But for the basic recipe, we're going to go with mezcal. I'm going with a fairly mild mezcal, but you can take this as kind of smoky and earthy as you want. This is a really good starting point, but explore the different mezcals. Lime juice for acidity, similar to a margarita. And then agave, if you want to. I don't necessarily add the agave, but it's a good way to make it a little bit sweeter if you want that. And then we've got 3 orange elements in the drink. So a classic margarita has your Cointreau, but this actually has Cointreau along with orange juice and also orange bitters, which brings a kind of very rounded orange flavor to the drink. And then we're going to be serving this in a glass with this, which is amazing. And if you've never tried it before, this is tahine. And essentially this is like a chili salt with a little bit of acidity in there as well. And this just brings that really nice warmth to the drink and a little bit of crunch as well. So really nice addition. If you don't have this, you could make your own version using chili, salt, and a little bit of citric acid. But tahine works really, really nicely. And this is also really good on food. So we're gonna rim our glasses with that. And before we start anything, get those glasses rimmed with lime first, then with the tahine, and get those straight in the freezer because this drink wants to be really nice and cold. So the mezcalita is a lively drink, it's a fun drink, and it wants to be really nice and kind of fresh and mixed up. So we're gonna shake this. And whereas before we're going for quite a tequila heavy drink, which is a margarita, the mezcalita doesn't need quite as much spirit. So we're just gonna go with 40 mils. And we're gonna add more booze a little bit later, but 40 mils of mezcal definitely carries through. So that's actually gonna be plenty. And then to complement this, 25 mils of our freshly squeezed lime juice, which is gonna give it that really nice acidity to balance out those sweeter orange notes. If you were to go agave now, so mezcal, lime, and agave, you'd essentially have a mezcal-based Tommy's margarita. But in this recipe, because we've got the sweetness from the Cointreau, the orange, and the whole thing just has, I think, enough sweetness, I'm going to omit the agave, but if you prefer a sweeter drink, add a little bit of this, maybe 5 mils, 10 mils would be really quite sweet, but not for me today. And then, deviating from the classic recipe for this, I'm actually going to go 20 mils of Cointreau. So most recipes call for 10, but I just think it really needs that kind of additional booze from the Cointreau. Too much orange juice can kind of water the drink down, whereas Cointreau kind of builds it up, picks up the body, and we're just gonna go 20 mils of the orange juice as well. So as I said before, 3 different orange elements bring that really nice fruity flavor to the drink. And then the third, after the Cointreau and the orange juice, it's just 2 dashes of orange bitters. So to summarize, we've got our mezcal, lime, and agave, which is kind of our base. And then the orange accents, 3 different ingredients, Cointreau, orange, and orange bitters. And then we're gonna give this drink a good shake. So I'm gonna fine strain this over a big rock of ice. Looks like a very, very appealing drink, which I wanna get my mouth around immediately. And then we're gonna garnish with a little bit of dried orange, or dried blood orange here. And there you have the classic mezcalita. So one very full mezcalita. You need to try this drink. It's so good. It is on the kind of sour side, which I think the drink really favors. If you want that sweetness, obviously add the agave. It's got like a real savoriness from the tahine and a little bit of spice. But mezcal, obviously, is the star of the show. It's clean, ridiculously refreshing, and just way more than a mezcal margarita. So that's the mezcalita. But I've got 2 riffs on this which I really love. The first of which being a coffee mezcalita, where you add exactly the same recipe. So 40 mils of mezcal, 25 mils of lime juice, 20 mils of your Cointreau, 20 mils of freshly squeezed orange juice, 2 dashes of orange bitters, but then also 10 mils of coffee liqueur. Shake it up in the same way and you get a really nice, delicately coffee flavored mezcalita. Brings another dimension to the drink, a little bit more depth, and I'm a big fan of that variation. And then the third variation is called a Mezcalita de PENA, which means Mezcalita of Pain. although this is a pretty pleasurable drink, where you add charred pineapple to the base of the shaker, along with a little bit of jalapeno chili to your taste. Obviously, the more chili you add, the spicier it's gonna be. Build the same recipe again, and then at the end of the drink, shake it up, serve it in a slightly bigger glass, and then my own addition to this is gonna be topping it up with a really nice, refreshing Mexican beer. And this is just fizzy, refreshing, spicy, tropical, smoky. So much going on, but you really need to try that variation. So if you've enjoyed this and you like experimenting with new cocktails that you might not have tried before, you can watch my 50 video, completely free Essential Cocktails course, which I'll put in a playlist just here for you to watch. And then I'll put some more kind of Mexican inspired cocktails for you to watch here and here, which I'd love to explore. And you can subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed this by clicking just here. So enjoy the next video, I'll see you soon, and happy Mezcalita enjoyment. Cheers.
Sounded like an AI bot. Like.